Welcome back, everyone. I am the Depressed Dior, and this is Arkham Horror, the card game. We're doing Darkham Horror, and before we dive into the next scenario, I did decide to go ahead and go with drawing the sign. I'm pretty sure through the gates, like both for this particular deck, it's both of them are terrible. But drawing the sign, like discarding potentially 5 cards from my hand, will suck. But I can at least get rid of that. Through the gates, on the other hand, will gradually just destroy my deck. So I am going to go with drawing the sign. Either way, I'm going to make if we get another one of those supply points, I'm probably going to go ahead and opt to remove this and take the trauma instead. Because this is going to kill me. Speaking of being killed, our next scenario is Wolves at the Door. And this one's rough. I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to actually do very well in this. You're just supposed to try to minimize the damage. But I don't exactly have that thought process. Also, we need to put these to 0. Okay. Wolves at the Door. You hurry to the hamlet and see growing ranks of brigands gathering in the plains in the east. The various brigand groups are scattered and disorganized. How did this happen? When you arrive at the town center, you can see a crowd of people with the mayor attempting to be heard above their shouting. The folk who live in the hamlet are simple farmers and craftspeople who have no idea what might be happening. What can you do to help? Alright, so this one does introduce multiple paths to victory, multiple acts, though unlike Forgotten Age, where it just shows all 3 acts immediately, this one only shows one of them, and then the other ones you have to go and find. This also introduces brigand reinforcements, which is essentially like an infestation bag, but it's pretty straightforward. Every time a brigand spawns, instead of spawning it on you, you will draw a token, and that will decide where that brigand spawns. Essentially, it's based off, each of the symbols is based off a gate, with the east gate being the most common with 3 tokens, the west gate being the least with 1 token, and then the north and south gates have 2 each. And then if the bag ever empties, you just reshuffle it. Also, if there's ever a situation where you draw something other than these symbols, the brigand just gets discarded and doesn't spawn. Veil locations. If you get all the clues off a location as a lightning bolt, you can flip it. Unless it says otherwise, you can only flip a location once to trigger its effects. And then pillage locations is once a location runs out of health or takes more damage than it has health, or equal to, it will swap that location with its pillage version. All tokens, cards, and other things will carry over. Alright, with all that said, why is this? This thing's going disco on me. What the hell? Oops, didn't mean to do that. Can I undo that, please? I cannot. Well, that kind of worked. Sort of. Alright, yeah, sorry about that. Okay, didn't, also I misspelled recovered. Alright. This did probably break a few things. Yeah, it broke it double stacks some clues here, so I'm just gonna fix that real quick. Do that. Yeah, I only did it on a few of these. Okay, anyway. Let's read we'll shuffle the encounter deck. Well, actually, we don't need to shuffle the encounter deck just yet. Based off the number of players, we put in the Rush of Brigands. If we have 2 players, you set aside 4 and 3 get shuffled in. So 1, 2, 3. These get all shuffled in. These get set aside. Alright, and then we shuffle this. Brigand Excursion. These hardened brigands, once hired by your ancestor, are attacking the hamlet. Brigand Reinforcements is in effect. Each non-pillage location counts as an investigator for the purpose of determining country enemies' movement. So the enemies will essentially go after locations and start burning them down. Forced. When an enemy phase ends, each ready unengaged brigand enemy deals its damage value to its location. For each location in play, if each location in play becomes pillage, we do resolution 1, 3 doomed to advance. There are 4 agendas. Defend the hamlets. These opportunistic killers are entering the hamlet from every direction. You must do what you can to save the lives and homes of the townsfolk. Reinforce the gates while preventing the brigands from pillaging the hamlets. If all 4 gates are fully defended, advance this act. Okie dokie. And then we have the tokens. Skulls are -1 and gets an additional -1 for every fully defended gate. So eventually this becomes -4. Once it hits -5, you've already won. Cultist is reveal another token. If you fail, you take a damage. Tablet is -3, but if you succeed, you heal a damage, which is good. And then the Elder Thing is -3, and if there's a brigand enemy at your location, you will take 1 damage. We don't have an Elder Thing, so we don't need to worry about that. Again, I do like the idea that you have a token that has a high modifier, but gives you a positive if you actually pass it. It's rather nice. It does mean we have -3 to deal with, though, which is unfortunate. Anyway, just going to verify I have the correct weakness in here. Yep, I do. Okay. There is one more thing we need to do for the setup, which is spawn some enemies, but we're going to do that after we do the rest of the setup. So let me BRB. All right, let's do this. So Moko is starting with 3 resources because she is indebted now, and we'll see how that plays out. Don't want any of these. All right, well, we'll at least start with a hand, I guess. Yeah, no fire extinguisher. We do have a meat cleaver. All right, and then over here, we need to turn off this. All right, deal to orange. All right, that is 7 cards and a weakness. That goes here. All right. So 2 easy marks. We already have the Necronomicon. We already have a Grim Memoir. That means we don't need the Research Librarian right now. And I don't care about the Savant. So that leaves us with 2 cards. 1 and 2. Okay, decent start. So this is actually really good. With the Knowledge is Power, that means we can do a 3 damage to something. This scenario, is, like I mentioned before, is why I had to redo Audrey to be someone that can actually do damage, because it just isn't going to happen. I mean, I could have obviously went with other investigators, but I really wanted to at least play with the custom investigator involved. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle this back real quick. And then we're going to go ahead and shuffle this. And then the way this works is we discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until 3 enemies are discarded, and we spawn them following the rules. That's one of them. Draw a token. All right, so this one's going to spawn over here. Brigand Hunter. 3 fight, 4 evade, 2 health. Humanoid Brigand, Hunter alert. You cannot attack Brigand Hunter while you are engaged with another Brigand enemy not named Brigand Hunter. Hits for 1 damage. All right. And then this guy, Bloodletter. 2 fight, 1 evade, 4 health. Humanoid Brigand. Hunter, armed with a vicious cat of 9 tails, whip, and a deadly flintlock pistol. He is ready to give his enemies deep and bloody scars to match his 1 damage. So this one's going to spawn over here. Yeah, so Cultist is East Gate, Elder Thing is West Gate. And then we need to do 1 more. Here we go. Another Brigand Hunter. And this one's going to spawn in Southgate. All right. Decent spread. So the big things to note is Westgate, we've already drawn the Elder Thing, so it's not going to spawn any more on the west side until we cycle through the bag. Also, something to note, the Sanitarium has the most health, has 8, so it can soak for a while. Let's see, Eastgate is the most common. It has 2 more tokens still in the bag. And then the Guildhall is slightly better. It's better health than most things. And then the North and South Gates are average common. Each of them have 2 tokens, and unfortunately they're the most vulnerable, with the wagon and the campsite only having 4 health. All right, so with all that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and shuffle this deck one more time, shuffle this deck one more time. I can't shuffle that anymore, so we are good to go. This location we're in is the town center, has 1 shroud, 0 clues, and it's connected to every town location. And it has 2 health, and it is veiled, so we could flip it right now if we want to. So there's a couple ways you can go. Obviously, we can try going after the west gate because, so I guess spoiler: the way the veiled locate, how to seal the gates is obviously we have to get the clues off them and actually do the veiled effect on them. But it's actually a bit more complicated than that. It's harder to close gates that are more active than the other ones. Let's just put it that way. So I think the idea is I really want to get north and south gate closed and have Moko just deal with east gate. Or at least do something along those lines. But it's hard to say. Well, first, we're in investigation phase. We have to immediately do at a crossroads. I'm going to go ahead and draw 3 cards with Moko and lose an action for that. 1, 2, 3. Trigger this one. This time around, I am going to go ahead and actually take an action. So I'm going to spend 2 resources to get out the fire extinguisher and then discard a card at random. That's fine. So that leaves me with 2 actions. Okay, and that was just resolving the at a crossroads, so we're good on that front. All right, so we got a fire extinguisher, so that's good. And we need to deal with as many of these things as possible. All right. So how should we do this? They have 2 Shroud. I'm just wondering if I can get that gate closed. Or we could just try to bomb rush one of them. It's really hard to say. Actually, with Moko, we might be able to get some work done. All right, so this is what we'll do. I'm going to go ahead and flip the veiled effect. General panic. The mayor stands on a pedestal and rises above a crowd in the middle of the town square. He tries in vain to placate the panic crowd with rhetoric, but it is clear that to all that he has no plan. You look around to see if anybody might be able to help you with your efforts, but the more level-headed individuals must already be doing what they can around and about the hamlet. There's nothing more you can do here. You consider where you might find help in the defense of the hamlet. This is surely what Victorine and Bernard, the guildmasters, have been training for. Emily, the survivalist, holds her own in a fight too. Kezia at the wagon and Edmund the smithy can probably help you with magic and equipment if you can convince them to part with some of their stock. So this gives you a little bit of extra information. Each investigator in the town center may move to a connecting location and then remember that you've done it and then flip it back over. So it gives you kind of some information. The guild hall is over here. So what I think I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to have Audrey move here and Moko move down. So I'm going to go ahead and start with Audrey first. I'm going to go ahead and spend 1 to fast out Second Onyx and use her ability to get 2 resources. I'm then going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and investigate. Actually, I will spend 3 to go ahead and get out the Grim Memoir. And then I'm going to investigate using it. And then I'm going to also do Practice Makes Perfect. So this will be, right now we're 6 to 4. Search top 9. Oh, thank God, we got at least something. We're now 9 to 4. Please don't autofail. I know you like to open with this. Okay, we're good to go. We get a clue from here. We're going to draw a card from Grim Memoir, and then draw 2 cards from Perception. And there's my drawing the sign that I was afraid of. This goes in my hand. Okay. So one way or the other, we're going to end up discarding a bunch of our hand. So with that in mind, there's a couple things we can do. Let's spend the last action doing easy mark. 2 resources, draw a card. 2 resources, draw a card. 2 resources, draw a card. And then I'm going to fast out Knowledge's Power and do Grim Memoir. And I'm going to do Knowledge's Power with the Grim Memoir. I'm going to commit a Quick Thinking. The Alex Shira, or however you call it. And a Savant. Actually, we'll do a Perception, because this is going to give us an action back if we do well. Alright, so this is Grim Memoir. I'm not spending any secrets or anything because I don't have to pay any of that or an action cost. So I am 6, 7, 8, 9, 12 to 4. We pass by a lot. So I get the clue here. I draw 3 cards. Get an action back. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I still have an action. Thanks to the Quick Thinking, which I have to take immediately. So unfortunately, I think I'm going to end up losing the 3 aces this round. That's probably going to be the gist of it. I'm just wondering if there's anything else I could possibly do. I think I am going to go ahead and actually, there is one thing we can do. And it's a bit crazy. But I have to take the action immediately. That's the problem. That's the problem with the Quick Thinking. I can't do a lightning bolt right now. Because I could move, but I won't be able to trigger the Guildhall at that point. Which isn't the end of the world. Yeah, I think what I'll do is I'm just going to spin 2 and get out the Research Librarian. I'll shuffle the deck. There's no card. I don't think I have. I believe I only have 2 books in this deck now. Yeah, only 2. So I'll shuffle, and then that resolves. Oh, and I'll go ahead and do the lightning bolt now. Every creature has a weakness. The wise hero trains for what they will face. The Guildmasters. You find Victorine and Bernard in the streets outside the Guildhall, along with some other members, other guild members fending off a number of brigands. The difference in skill between the trained fighters of the guild and the brigand rabble is like night and day. With the Guildmasters each parrying and covering for each other in the melee of combat while cutting through the defenses of the brigands. We've got this area covered. Go help the others. Put the set aside Victorine and Bernard into play at the Guildhall, and note that you have searched the Guildhall. All right. There you are, Victorine and Bernard. We'll do that. Okay. Victorine and Bernard, the Guildmasters. Asset, ally, Townsfolk veteran. When a brigand enemy would deal damage to the Guildhall, instead deal that damage to Victorine and Bernard. After the enemy phase ends, Victorine and Bernard deal 2 damage to a non-elite enemy at their location. Victory 0 has 9 health. So with them, they can kind of hold the line for a little bit. Anyway, that is it for Audrey. Moko's down here. I'm going to go ahead and have her just move up and get engaged by this. And then I'm going to punch this thing using a fire extinguisher. This will make our stats are back to normal. Yeah, stats are back to normal. 6 to 3. Good to go. Killed it. All right. Enemy phase. This guy's going to move up and do 1 damage to this location. I do need to keep the sanitarium alive, so I can eventually get rid of this madness. But the Brigand Hunter is going to move up and actually do a damage to Audrey, which I'm just going to have the Research Librarian take. And then we go, and then at the end of the enemy phase, deal 2 damage to a non-elite enemy at their location, which will do 2 damage to this guy and kill him. So not too bad. We have pretty good control of things. Oh yeah, and the damage to the location is done at the end of the enemy phase, which is right now. All right, upkeep. Of course, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll put you over here. Actually, we'll put you up here. All right, that was your upkeep. Upkeep here. I have to discard. All right. Whew, that's a rough choice. We're gonna have to do this. I need this. I need to have the sleight of hand in my hand. Mythos. First Doom. Do a willpower check or that other nonsense. I can go 5 to 4. There's not much else I can do about it. I'll just take the Doom. I have to. Frozen Fear, that sucks. Alright. Investigation phase. So starting with Audrey, obviously get rid of this. I will fast out the Segment of Onyx and get 2 resources back. And I will just draw a card for my last action, because I can't move. I suppose one thing I can also do is Sleight of Hand. I should have did this earlier. That would have saved me a card. But hindsight is a million. So yeah, I'll fast out a Sleight of Hand. I'm going to use all 6 charges here to discover a clue at any location. I'll discover clues over here, which should only have... It should only have 2 clues on it. Alright. And then at the end of her action... actually, I still get an action, so I'm going to go ahead and draw a card. And then I will fast out a Cryptic Research and draw some more cards. Get that. And then this will go in my hand at the end of my turn. Alright, 2 to 3. I fail. No surprise. Alright. Alright, so now I'll go to Moko's turn. This location now has no clues on it, thanks to the Necronomicon. Yeah, I should have did that last round. That would have helped out a lot. Alright. I'll go ahead and do the Veiled effect. Eager to end the tiresome domestic distraction, I instructed my newly formed militia of brigands to go forth and do their work. Compliance and orders were restored, and the noisome population of the hamlet was culled to more manageable numbers. You work together, reinforce the south gate. You work together with Emily, to set snares and traps for any brigands who wander down the southern road or the surrounding woods. As more and more are caught, corpses and survivors serve as a warning to others, and the number braving the southern gate start to dwindle. If there's a set-aside tablet token, remove one of them. Otherwise, remove a tablet token from the reinforcement bag. So this tablet gets removed. And then if there are no tokens, this is when it will get fully reinforced. So the idea here is you have to do this 3 times on East Gate, and then twice for each the North and South Gate, and only once for the West Gate. All right, so flip this back over for 2 clues, and you can do it again. So here's the 2 clues for that. Moko is going to investigate this location. We'll go 2 to 2. I pass and get 1 clue. I'll go again, 2 to 2. I pass, I get 1 clue. And, oh yeah, apologies. She should have gotten those clues earlier. All right, and then I will go ahead and flip it 1 more time. And I get to search through the bag and remove this tablet token. And now that there is none left in the bag, the South Gate is now fully defended, which means skulls are now -2. But more importantly, we get to add a numerical token to the reinforcement bag. So what I'm going to do here is make a copy of this +1, paste it, set the tablet, take off temp token, and what's it say again? Does it say add it to the bag? To the reinforcement bag. All right, so we get to add this to the bag and then shuffle it. All right, so now we don't have to worry about anything spawning at the South Gate, at least anytime soon. I am going to go ahead and make my way up this way. And we drew that last. Okay, we drew that in upkeep last round, so no curses yet. Okay, that is everybody. We'll go to enemy phase. This guy's just going to keep beating up the sanitarium. Upkeep. Oh, also, we get a curse token. All right, that resource we got goes on this. Mythos, we advance. Boom o'clock. You hear something beyond the clash of battle. In the east, the brigands are wheeling out an enormous cannon. Attended by a swarm of matchmen, every time it fires will cause a huge amount of havoc. Whether you stop the matchman or destroy the cannon, you cannot let it continue its path of destruction. Spawn the brigand 12-pounder and 1 set-aside copy of brigand matchman at the east gate. Brigand 12-pounder and matchman. So it goes here and here. And the rest go into the victory. All right. So I'll go ahead and read about them. Brigand 12-pounder. 2 fight, 4 evade. It has 6 health, but it gets an additional 12 health. So 18 health. Cannon, Brigand Elite, Hunter Massive. Cannot make attacks opportunity. And it cannot attack unless a Brigand Matchman is in its location. Victory 1. Hits for 4 damage. So what's really annoying about this thing is the way it works is obviously it shouldn't be able to fire as long as if there's no matchman around. But if it's sitting on a location, it still the agenda still triggers it. So, which is annoying. I think that's kind of dumb. It shouldn't be able to damage locations if it can't fire. In any case, over here we got the Brigand Matchman. They are 1/1/1. Humanoid Brigand. Prey is none. They don't actually automatically engage anyone. But they aren't aloof, so you can still attack them. At the end of the round, move Brigand Matchman once towards a Brigand 12-pounder if able. So yeah. What's actually kind of interesting about these guys is they actually do 0 damage. So you could always just grab these guys and just drag them away, which is kind of funny. Anyway, flames on the horizon. The glow from fire rises over the rooftops and fills the sky. 3 doomed to advance. Oh, actually, sorry, we forgot to do the rest of this. We actually need to go get a set-aside copy of Rush of Brigands, add it to the deck, and we got to add the set-aside copies of Matchmaking, and shuffle in the encounter discard. And then the last line was what I just did earlier, which is put the other matchmen into the victory display. All right, now let's do this. Boom. Brigand Hunter. Okay. Token. Skull is to the north. The bandits all hit for 1. Sorry about that. I had a weird freeze, so I decided to go ahead and put a clip there just in case. All right. So let's go ahead and I mean, it's either that or let everything roll forward. If everything rolls forward, it will do 5 damage to these guys, which would be unfortunate, but I think that's still better than the alternative. All right. So yeah, we spawned a bunch of campsite does. I've never actually flipped it before, and I don't exactly have time to flip it. But I might go ahead and just spend that time to do that now just to see what it does. I really do need to get to up here. That's kind of more important to anything right now. We can kind of ignore the bloodletter for a little while longer. Yeah, I think I may just let Victory and Bernard just tank a blast. And then I can have Moko roll in soon after. I think that's going to be the plan. Let's start with Moko. I'm going to investigate this location. We are 2 to 3. That's an auto fail. I'll do live and learn. So now we're 4 to 3. Oh, now we freaking pass. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and investigate one more time. I'll commit a resourceful, 3 to 3. We failed by 1. I will go ahead and do look what I found and grab that last clue. Alone in the woods and or tunnels, survival is the same. Prepare, persist, and overcome. You find Emily in the woods where she makes her camp, laying hunting traps and relentlessly picking off brigands one by one. You help finish them off, glad to be fighting with her and not against her. Afterwards, she thanks you for her help and passes on her maps of the area, hoping you can put them to use, and then leads further south to secure more ground. Choose an investigator to take control of the set-aside Emily's maps story asset. Remember that you search the campsite, flip it back over. Okay, so what does that actually do? Emily's maps. During your turn, if you're not engaged with enemies, exhaust Emily's map, move to a connecting location. After it leaves play, remove it from the game. Okay, that's something I can work with. That's not bad. So anyone can have control of this, and that will essentially ensure that I have mobility with Audrey here. It's either that or give it to Moko, which is also really, really good. I'll give it to Audrey because I can make something happen with that. Let's where's tags? There it is. Asset. Okay. So I'm currently not engaged with any enemies. I can exhaust it to move to a connecting location. All right, Audrey. Oh, actually, sorry. Moko's turn is still here. I'm going to go ahead and move with the last action, and we're just going to move on over to the town center. All right, Audrey. I'm going to go ahead and spend 3 for 1 action to get out Pathfinder. And then I'm going to use Emily's map and Pathfinder to go 1, 2 to here. And I will go ahead and investigate this location. Actually, I will move up and get engaged by this guy. Actually, no, I will not move up because moving up is cringe. I'm not going to move up because Frozen in Fear is going to eat up all my actions. So instead, I'm going to go ahead and investigate using Grim Memoir. will be 6-3. We pass by a lot. Draw a card. Grab a clue. I am going to go ahead and investigate again. Grim Memoir. Draw a card. And get a clue. I will go ahead and flip this. So, idol, amulet, or lucky charm, the simplest object can be a talisman against evil. The Nomad. You find Kezia in the street where she's parked her wagon, setting fire to a group of brigands who have strayed into the hamlet. When the last brigand flees, with blackened stumps for arms, she turns to you and offers you some help. You decide not to turn down her assistance. Each investigator searches their deck for a charm, relic, or spell asset and puts it into play, and then shuffle the search deck, and then remember that you've searched the wagon and flip this back over. All right. So, what was it? Charm, relic, or spell? I will happily take the chair's keepsake and equip it. And then over here, so this is putting it into play. It doesn't count as me playing it, but I am still going to bring out the Segment of Onyx. Shuffle, and then all powers combined. We get out the Pen of the Queen. And I'm going to go ahead and just use Pen of the Queen now to grab a clue from up here. Yeah, these glitched. All right. All right. I'll go ahead and do my willpower check. I'm currently 2-2. I fail, but I do get rid of a curse, so that's good. All right, enemy phase. I'll go ahead and take care of the damage that's happening here. This guy's going to move down and hit Audrey for 1. And then oh, actually, we're okay for this round. The matchmen do not move just yet. All right, Brigand's going to move up, as is the Pounder. Oh, actually, I mean, we're still going to get screwed, but Brigand is going to Brigand and the Pounder are going to hit for 5 damage on these guys. And then Victorine and Bernard can only hit the Raider, so they'll take 2 damage. And we get a curse token. And then at the end of the round, this is going to go up 1. So I'll just go ahead and do that now. All right, upkeep. Okay, a sweeping kick. We can work with that. And then upkeep over here, which that resource is going to go on you. All right, new round. First Doom. Dissonant Voices. Okay, can't play events or anything. And Cannon Fire. You must choose. Either do a Fist 2 test to leap out of the way. If you fail, you take 1 damage. If you fail by 2 or more, take 3 damage instead. And then there's Foot 2, which is hide behind cover. And each point you fail by, you'll take 1 damage. Regardless of whether you succeed or fail, your location takes 1 damage if able. I'm kind of okay with that. I'm not too worried about that. So yeah, let's go. We can go, what, 6-2? Yeah, we'll go 6-2, and we'll see how that goes. We pass. I do get to take an action immediately. What do I wish to take my action with? This will do a damage on this location. So I get to take an action immediately. There's not much I can do because it has to be an action. You know what? I don't think I want to commit the quick thinking. I'll still pass the check, but yeah, I don't think I want to do the quick thinking because it won't get. I can't do anything with the action because it has to be an action. It can't be a lightning bolt or anything like that. So yeah, I'm going to take back the quick thinking because there's no point in doing it. All right, investigation phase. Let's start with the Brigand Hunter. I'm going to fast out Acknowledge his power and reveal the Necronomicon and then do 3 damage to this guy and kill it. Then I'm going to use Emily's maps to move up. That guy's aloof, so I don't need to worry about him right now. I am going to go ahead and investigate using Grim Memoir. 6. Now I'll commit the quick thinking. We'll go 7 to 2 here. We pass. It's only -2 right now. I do get to draw a card, and I get an action back. We get the clue here, which we will go ahead and use to, in the face of my increasingly egregious flaunting of public taboos, awe turned to ire, and demonstrations were held in the town square. The wild whispers of heresy roused the rabble to violent action. Flip it over. Well, with you projecting Kezia while she incants, she is able to complete a ritual on a broken part of the wall, hiding the broken masonry with an illusion. You look through one of the gaps in the wall and can see brigands walking right by as if it were solid stone. Okay, we get to remove a set-aside skull token, and then flip it back over, and add 2 clue tokens. All right, I am going to go ahead and investigate and commit a deduction. This will be 5 to 2. We pass. I don't think I have anything discarded. Nope. All right. I get 2 clues off of this, and I can flip it one more time and go in here to take out the skull. And we'll make a copy of this and add it to the bag. All right. All right, so Northgate has been completely, fully defended at this point. So that's good. I am going to go ahead and so skulls are -3 now, by the way, just FYI. I think I'm going to go ahead and Pathfind move back to here. I'm going to go ahead and use the Pendant of the Queen to auto-evade the 12-pounder so it can't attack. And then I'm going to spend 3 to go ahead and get out Nashua, which will get our stats a little bit better. I still have an action remaining, which I'm going to use to draw a card. Okay, we have our maimed hand. All right, I can do a 3 to 3 check. Unfortunately, it is a fail. All right, over here with Moko, I'm going to move over 1. Get engaged by you. All right, I'll go ahead and punch the Raider, 6 to 3. Kill it. And then I'm going to punch the... actually, you know what? This guy can live. I'm going to go ahead and just focus on the cannon. That check still passes on the cannon because it has a even less fight. It's going to take 2 damage, and then I'm going to punch the cannon again. Apologies for changing my mind. Okay, another 2 damage. Yeah, this guy has 18 health. It's going to be a while before I kill him, but maybe, just maybe. Let's go ahead and go enemy. This enemy is going to hit me for 1 damage. This is going to take 1 damage. And everything else here is not a big deal. Upkeep. Upkeep. That resource, unfortunately, is going to go onto this. And then I'll exhaust this guy, and then I can do 2 damage to whoever I want. I will pick the Raider. Get him killed by this Victorine and Bernard. Sanitarium's at half health, so that needs to be dealt with. We go to Mythos. This is our second Doom. Oh, also we get 1 curse. Rotting Remains. I'll commit a Meat Cleaver and go 4-3. We pass. Also, this goes away. Rotting Remains. I'll go ahead and commit a... I'll just go 3-3. Alright, I take 2 horror. 1 will go here, and 1 will go there. Alright, investigation phase. I'm going to go ahead and start with Moko. I'm going to spend 1 to do a sweeping kick onto the Brigand 12-pounder. This is going to make us 7-2. That is -3. We do pass. We do 2 damage and auto evade it. I'll then punch it for with a fire extinguisher. Do another 2 damage and punch it 1 more time. I heal 1 damage and do 2 damage. 6, 12, 18. All right, it has 8 health left. I mean, if we can get rid of the cannon, that would be fantastic. That would make everything go a little bit faster. Fortunately, I'm doing 2 damage at a time here. Meanwhile, over here, I think we need to get ready for the reinforcements. So, yeah, all that's left in the bag right now is a cultist, and the rest are duds. So, there's a couple ways we can do this. I think the best way to do this is to I think it's to do Pendant of the Queen. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and use Pendant of the Queen. And we can teleport to any revealed location. And I'm just going to go over here. To Westgate. Such was the general air of rebellion that even my generous offer of gold to the local constabulator was rebuffed. To reassert my rule, I sought out unscrupulous men skilled in the application of force. Indeed you did. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and investigate this location. I'm currently 5-2. I'm going to go 8-2 with perception. That is still 5-2. I can go ahead and exhaust Hassan to heal a damage. Or sorry, that's only -2 right now. Sorry, it's -3 right now. So -3, I went 8, 5-2. Yeah, I beat it by 3. So I get to draw 2 cards, 1 and 2. I get 1 clue. Again, this glitched out. I'll investigate again. This time it's just going to be 5-2. We succeed, grab 1 clue. And then we'll go ahead and close this gate. Reinforce the west gate. You find what materials you can scrounge in the nearby area and barricade the west gate. It will not hold up to any sort of sustained assault, but few brigands come this way and it should dissuade opportunist raiders. Alright, and this one there's literally no others, so we get to remove this. And more importantly, add another one of these. Alright, so at this point, besides any other events, enemies should only come in through the east gate. And it's only a 50-50 chance, for the most part. But for the next, right now, 75% of it is now duds for the next round, which is good. I'm going to go ahead and gain a resource for my last action. Because I believe, yeah, all my easy marks are not here anymore. Yep, all the easy marks are used. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And we're just going to try to gradually whittle that down. Okay. Enemy phase. This guy's going to do 1 damage. Nothing's going to happen over here besides this guy unexhausting during the upkeep. And then at the end of the enemy phase, this guy is non-elite, so we'll do 2 damage to the matchman. So as long as Moko is here, the 12-pounder is not going to do anything because it's classified as engaged as a massive enemy. So we should be at least safe for a little while longer. Upkeep. Take the initiative, huh? All right. Oh, also I need to do a Frozen Fear check. We'll go 3 to 3. It's a fail, unfortunately. Okay. Upkeep. That resource is going to go here. All right. Mythos. Oh, also add a curse. We're at 3. All right, this advances. Sharpshooter. Most of the brigands seem to be coming in from the east gate, the one closest to their camp outside of town. However, some of the more cunning ones are taking a longer route and entering via less well-trodden entrances. Spawn the set-aside brigand sharpshooter at the west gate. Alright, so this is the part where I realized I made a mistake in my previous runs and then had to reset. Alright, brigand sharpshooter, the elusive. Humanoid brigand elite, 6 fight, 2 health, 4 evade, alert hunter retaliate. Action if brigand sharpshooter is exhausted, parlay. He remembers the innocent lives he's taken, place 1 clue on him from the token pool. Then if he has 2 on him, place him in the victory display. Victory 1 hits for 2 damage. Alright, he's going to be over here at East Gate. So unfortunately, biggest problem right now is trying to see if I can evade this guy, and unfortunately, evading costs an additional action. So we might be kind of screwed for a bit, unless I can. Yeah, I'm actually going to be kind of screwed for a bit. There's not really much I can do about it. All right. West Gate, shuffle 1 set-aside copy of the Rush Brigands into the counter deck along with the discard pile, and then discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until 1 brigand is discarded and spawn those following brigand reinforcement rules. Okay. 1. Okay. And he spawns over here. Okay, so for the next 3 spawns, nothing's going to happen because we have all those closed. Alright. Sulfur in the air. The smoke and fumes from gunpowder make every breath sharp and acrid. And 3 doom to advance. Alright. Mythos. Brigand. It's going to get discarded. Rush search the encounter deck and discard pile for 2 brigand enemies and draw them and shuffle the encounter deck. What do I not want to spawn? Right now, I actually don't want these Rabbit Gnashers. We haven't even seen these guys yet. Alright, so we're going to spawn them, but they're both going to follow these rules and just get discarded. And then this is going to get all reshuffled. Okay. So that was your card. Yeah, that was your card. Okay, so I need to draw a card for you. Frozen Fear. We now have 2 of them. So it literally takes 3 actions for me to evade enemies now. This is a problem. I might need to buy some time for a bit. All right. Let's start with Moko. Yeah, this guy's not going to do anything as long as I sit here. So I'll just keep punching this thing. 6 to 2. Yeah, still good to go. Skulls, by the way, are -4, by the way, because three locations, 3 gates are sealed. But that's still a pass because I'm ahead by 4. Do it again. I pass, and 1 more. I pass. Okay, this guy only has 2 health left. And then after that, I can kind of try to see about this east gate over here. All right. Now, over here, we have a problem. So I need to succeed on evading this guy. I'm going to go ahead and spend 1 to fast up the segment of Onyx and use my ability to get that ready. That'll be taken care of next round, or at the during upkeep at least. I have to have tried to evade. There's no other option. 3 aces, so I'm going to be 6 to 4. Good luck. I fail on skulls and possibly curse tokens. All right, I take 2 damage. Because this guy does have alert. All right, cool. I'll go ahead and do my Frozen Fear checks, 3 to 3. All right, I fail, but I do get to heal a damage. And the other one also failed. Cool. Enemy phase, this guy's going to do 1 damage here. Nothing going to happen over there. I'm going to take 2 damage here. And then upkeep. Okay. This is going to get resolved. Well, if Audrey dies, she's dead because of Karen's Opal, so we get to look forward to that. Mythos, First Doom. Oh, also we do get a curse on this. Rotting Remains, 3 to 3. We'll do take the initiative, 6 to 3. We pass. Spawn 2 more brigands. Two brigand enemies. Oop, don't know what that was. Let's actually... Can we grab them from here? I can, but if I do, there's a good chance I will... There is a chance I'll spawn them. Which isn't the end of the world. Yeah, we'll take a Brigand Raider from here and a Rabbit Gnasher. We'll do the Raider first. Okay, spawns over here. Oh, sorry, this guy should have moved up and hit Boka for 1. And it should have taken 2 damage. Sorry about that. And then the other one, the Rabbit Gnasher, is also... Okay, I was hoping to not spawn that. Okay. That's been resolved. Investigation. I'll start with Moko. I'm going to punch the 12-pounder. We succeed. You are gone. All right. I'm then going to go ahead and punch the Bloodletter. And then I'm going to move. All right, over here, there's literally nothing left I can do. So I'm going to go ahead and triple action, try to evade. Or I just pass action. I mean, there's literally nothing I can do. I think I have to pass action with Audrey. There's not anything else I can do. I'm going to get hit for 2 damage, which Nash will at least be able to handle. All right, I'm going to do a 3-3 check. I do heal a damage. And the other one? I do get rid of one of them. Okay. Got that going for us. Enemy phase. These guys are going to move up and do 2 damage to this guy, and then I'm going to use the 2 damage to kill that. This is going to do 1 damage here, and she's going to take 2 damage. Upkeep. I don't think I have anything in this deck that can help me. Second Doom. Russia Brigands. I'll pick Rabbit Nasher. And the other Rabbit Nasher. Alright, both die. Cannon Fire. We'll just 4-2 it. We pass. It does do a damage to this location, but it can't take damage. Alright, investigation. Alright, so Mocha's going to move twice. This is going to get engaged with her, and she's going to take a damage. Get all the way to over here. And then she's going to do something kind of crazy. She's going to discard the fire extinguisher to evade all... Oh, it has to be enemies engaged with you. Never mind. In that case, I'm just going to engage the sharpshooter for now. Alright. Okay. Audrey is going to Emily map over to here. Pathfind move over to here. I'm going to fast out this and get 2 resources back. I'm going to go ahead and draw a card. I'm going to fast out this segment of Onyx. Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. Fast out segment of Onyx. Get Pen to the Queen out. I'm going to go ahead and use it to I really want to teleport, but that's way too risky. So I'm just going to use Pen to the Queen to exhaust this Brigand Raider. That'll ensure that she doesn't take damage this round, or these 2 won't take damage this round. I'm going to go ahead and draw a card. Actually, no, I'll double action, get rid of Psychosis. Okay, And then I do a 3-3 check. I actually pass. I get rid of it. All right. Enemy phase. This guy's not going to do anything, but he'll take 2 damage at the end. Thanks to the guild. And then I'm going to take 3 damage here. So it's going to go 1, 2, and then I will res, using up one of these chances. Okay. We also get a curse upkeep. Upkeep. Mythos. 3rd Doom. We advance. Okay. A great roar echoes through the streets, and the silhouette of a huge man charges directly at you. Wielding a blood-splattered shield and wearing the pelt of a gray wolf, his eyes seethe with barely contained rage, and his presence inspires the rest of the brigands with the same ferocity. Shuffle 1 set-aside copy of Rush of Brigands, along with the discard pile. Lead investigator spawns Wolf. So this guy is 5 fight, 1 evade, 8 health, humanoid brigand elite, hunter retaliate, prey only non-locations. He will hunt only investigators, but will still damage locations if ready and unengaged. Can retaliate even while exhausted. Victory 1. It's for 2 damage. Okay. And then the other one, I discard cards from the top of the discard until I get a brigand, and it spawns engaged with me. 1, 2, 3. Alright, we get a Rapid Gnasher on you. This guy should exhaust. Okay. Put the set-aside EF deck into play. Cut off the head. Killing their leader and destroying their cannon would be a supreme show of force. Without Wolf or the cannon to rally around, their forces would be directionless and a decisive victory would be on the table. If 12-pounder and Wolf are on the victory display, advance this act. So we have an option. We can either close the last gate or take out Wolf. We've already taken out the 12-pounder. All right. Final agenda. The wolves at the door. Your ears are filled with resonating explosions and the cries of the wounded. Has 9 doom to advance. Okay, let's draw our cards. We'll go ahead and take the doom. Actually, I'll commit a meat cleaver and I live and learn. We'll go 5 to 4. I pass. So no doom. Over here. Locked door. We'll put it on this location. Okay. Whew. Give me a moment. Okay, needed a bit of a break. I did mess up on the curse stuff. I should have added a curse earlier. So I'm going to redo a check here. I'm good. I didn't need to do anything here, I don't think. But I'll do it anyway. Good. And 1 more here. Good. All right, so just making sure I didn't draw a curse token there. And then I should be getting a 3rd token. Give me a second. Also, when I engaged, that does provoke, so I should have taken 1 more damage from the Bloodletter. And we should actually have a 3rd doom, or 3rd curse here. And I'm still good. So making sure all that test was correct. I think we're okay. So I redid the test just to see if I drew a curse token, because that would change the result. But other than that, I think we're okay. All right, so we're in investigation phase. So big thing here is we need to deal with Sharpshooter. I have a way to do it, but I need to get rid of the Gnasher first. So I need to evade 4 to 2 with Audrey. It's an auto fail. Okay, I passed it the 2nd time. That's good. Okay, next I will use Pin of the Queen to auto evade the Brigand Sharpshooter. And I'm going to use Emily's map, to go over here, get engaged by you, and try to evade you as well. 4-2-2. We pass, you're evaded. Okay. I could Pathfind move if I really want to, but not sure that's going to be the best option right now. I think I'll wait till next round. I mean, I guess I'm kind of screwed either way. So yeah, you know what? I'll just Pathfind move to here. I mean, worst case scenario is I can get rid of this gate. All right. And then for Moko, I'm going to spend 2 actions parlaying. Thankfully, this is from the token pool, so it's going to put 2 clues on him and put him in the victory display. All right. Next is Operation Murder Wolf. We're going to end up dying one more time at the very least, but that's okay. We'll go 6-5. Yep, we'll just go 6-5. I will use a lucky to pass that and do 2 damage. All right. Enemy phase. These guys are exhausted. This guy will eventually become unexhausted. This guy's going to die from damage. And then I'm going to take 3 damage here, which is going to put me at another death. Okay. And then we do add 1 curse. Upkeep. Upkeep. Okay, we can work with that. Okay, that's... We could kill Wolf. It's doable. We just need to live for 1 round. First Doom. Boop. You get discarded. Cannon fire again. We'll do evade 4-2. I pass. I'm alive. All right, investigation. All right. I have to pass this check. And unfortunately, my options are kind of limited. So I'm going to go ahead and attack. I'm going to go brute force with long shot. This is going to make us 8-5. I do fail on skulls. Of course it does. Yeah. Fuck you, game. I'll go ahead and try again. 6-5. Okay, is a death. So now we get all sorts of these in here now. This is actually really dangerous. I could actually die now. I'll go ahead and attack again. And I take another 2 damage. Yeah, I'm going to eventually go insane. Okay. Meanwhile... So he's engaged with you right now. I might be able to still do it. Okay. Here's the plan. I'll still need a round. So Moko needs to just stay alive for a round. So I'm going to use Pen of the Queen to teleport to here. And then I'm going to spend 1 to do Sleight of Hand and get out the Necronomicon. I'm going to spend 4 charges to do 3 damage to Wolf. I'll spend 2 charges to draw 2 cards, or secrets rather. I'm going to go ahead and Fast out a segment of Onyx and get 2 resources back. And then I'm going to draw a card. And draw a card. And then that'll be it. Enemy phase, this location is going to take 1 damage. You're going to be at 2 and almost be dead. She's got 1 more self-res left, but now she's really in danger of getting killed by her weakness. Upkeep. Okay, we got Phoenix Rebirth. Which I can win with. Mythos. Second Doom. Rotting Remains. 3/3. Good luck. Oh, sorry, I forgot to add a curse token. Okay, I still failed it, and I'll take that curse token out that I just drew. I failed by 3, so I'm going to take 3 horror, which I'll just use Chair's Keepsake to soak 2 of it. Brigand Bloodletter goes over here. Okay. Also, Necronomicon should be back in my hand. Okay. Should I just try Phoenix Rebirth and see if I can actually get something to happen? Because it will do... It still won't do enough damage. So you know what? We're just going to solve this the right way. I'm going to spend 3 to get out... to actually play the Necronomicon and use 4 charges to do 3 damage to Wolf and kill him. Holy crap. That was just chaos. Hopefully I didn't make too many mistakes. Like I said, I did forget those curses, which I reapplied and redid the test for, but I think everything else I did somewhat okay with. As you can see, there's a lot of stuff to keep track of. And this was with literally me abusing things like Sleight of Hand, Necronomicon, Segment of Onyx, and even then, we still almost nearly died. So, but I'm definitely liking these new builds. These builds are working for me. I kind of wish Moko didn't. If Moko hadn't drew the skull with that brute force, I would have been able to just end immediately by just teleporting over and using Necronomicon to finish off the game. But in any case, if both are in the victory display, we advance this act. And the rest will follow. Rudderless, the brigands are easy pickings, each acting individually in their own interests. You gather any townsfolk still fighting and begin the task of mopping up groups of brigands 1 by 1. Good times. So I do need to make sure this has tokens on it, because it's supposed to. Or sorry, not that guy, the other guy. Yeah, I think going for the top and bottom location gates are the best route, and then going to West Gate and then just leaving East Gate open. Because you're going to need to deal with the cannon one way or the other. Or if you don't, it's just going to start blowing up everything. Because it apparently still attacks even with it still attacks buildings even without a matchman. All right. So we got that. Resolution 2. With the tables turned, the slow bleeding of the brigand numbers eventually becomes a tide, and as the sun is setting, you can hear a loud cheer coming from the townsfolk as the brigands begin to flee en masse. However, the sense of elation is brief. They may have been driven off, but the hamlet isn't densely populated city. Realization is quickly dawned. In a small settlement like this, it is inevitable that everyone knows everyone else. Nobody is spared the pain of lost loved ones. In time, the hamlet will recover some semblance of its former charm, but this incident will have left its mark. Under buildings pillaged, record the name of each town location that was pillaged. Thankfully, we managed to avoid that. We almost lost the sanitarium. We almost lost the town center, and the Viking took a little bit of damage. having an immortal tank the majority of the hits for you definitely helps. If the Brigand Sharpshooter is in the victory display, if we have 2 clues on him, record that Otto von Eisenberg is overcome with remorse. All right. Did I actually spell that right? Neat. The investigators tapped into another dimension. We did not. Each investigator earns 1 additional experience for each 2 gates that were fully defended. So we defended 1 of them. We defended 3, so we get 1 additional experience point. So we'll go ahead and make note of that now. And then each investigator earns experience equal to victory X. Do not spend experience yet until you're instructed to do so. All right. So we go for that. Okay. Victory. There is 1, 2, 3. And then 2 more for Audrey because of Karen's opal. All right. Interlude, Lost and Found. If Otto von Eisenberg is overcome with remorse, proceed to Lost and Found 1. You find a familiar-looking man sitting in a building Leopold has turned into a tavern. He nurses a drink in scarred hands, his back turned to the doors. When you sit down near him and order a drink, he addresses you. I used to think life was simple. Those with power take from those without. The rich have their wealth, and the ruling elite have their power. And I had my blade and pistol. Everybody makes the best with what they have. He pauses to sip his ale. Last week, I was on a straightforward job, very standard, easy in, easy out. Lightly defended carriage with some rich magnate. Obviously going to have something of value with him. 1 shot for the driver, 1 shot for his bodyguard, 1 shot for him. Only when I opened the carriage door to retrieve his valuables, it wasn't what I was expecting. Another sip, larger this time. Woman, downtrodden, and her son, running from something. Who knows? The ride would have cost a fortune to her. I know I was set up, but I don't care anymore. There has to be a better way. He wants to atone, and we need all the help we can get. Maybe his skill will be of use, or we can just not talk to him. We'll go Lost and Found too. Help you? He scratches at his beard. Got nowhere to go anyway. Nobody to miss me if I die on your suicide mission. Fine. Fine then. I've got drinks to finish. You know where to find me. Add Otto von Eisenberg to the expedition members, and any one investigator may choose to add Glucklich to their deck, and they can also add Otto von Eisenberg to their deck. This does not count towards deck size. So over here, Otto von whatchamacallit, and his gun, the flintlock. Seeking Redemption, +1 fight to +1 evade. After you reveal a non-negative symbol during a skill test, you can exhaust him to gain 2 resources. Elusive, evasive, persistent, righteous traits for a rogue. 2 health, 1 sanity. Seeking Redemption, 3 cost, and can be committed for essentially 2 fist or 2 foot, or just a wild by itself. All right, I will give this to Moko. And then this thing, poorly named Glucklich. Item, weapon, firearm, illicit, fast, uses 3 ammo. If it is ready, spend 1 ammo. Add your agility to your skill value for this attack. This attack does +1 damage. If a chaos token with a non-negative modifier is revealed during this attack, exhaust it. Okay, and it takes up 1 hand slot. If it weren't for the fact that I have that hand injury, I would probably take this on Audrey, because that would actually make it so she can actually fight at 6, which would be nice. But I don't have the hand slot to spare, so I'm gonna go ahead and give this to Moko, and it's still pretty good for Moko because it's fast. Proceed to Lost and Found 5. The residents are going to need all hands on deck to restore our working order to the town. While you are wandering the streets, the mayor strides over. I can't express how grateful everybody is for your help in our time of need. I wish there was something I could do, but as you can imagine, we have so much work ahead of us. The investigators must decide. We could spare a few days to help a neighbor in need, or we have our own task we should concentrate on. I don't think there's a point in doing the repairs because literally there's nothing to repair. Like everything's fine. Like literally, I don't think it matters. Yeah, I'm just gonna go. Like literally, there's nothing to repair. If I get punished for that, I'm gonna be upset. But we have our own task we should concentrate on. Each investigator may now spend unspent experience, and we go to Lost in the Woods. So unfortunately, we're still stuck with our weaknesses, which really, really sucks. There's not much we can do about it. All right. So yeah, Lost in the Woods. Let's go ahead and spend experience. 4 and 6. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. So give me a moment. Okie dokie. So yeah, in hindsight, if I wasn't tilted, I think the smart thing with Moko was just to kill the Bloodletter, because I could have easily done that and reduced the amount of damage I was taking every round. But I was in Blood Rage or something, I suppose. But in any case, for experience, I'm going to go ahead and upgrade the 2 Look What I Found. This makes them a little bit more flexible. Gives them a foot icon to commit with, but also it now works if you fail by 3 or less instead of 2. Also, this will work. It can grab you a total of 2 clues from your location and connecting locations. So a lot more flexible and easier to work with. Okay, 34 cards with the new story cards. I will say Nashwa Hassan definitely saved Audrey quite a bit. I did have bandages, which I think I still have active. I don't know if these are only for the dungeon delves or not. But yeah, getting healed every time I drew a skull was definitely very helpful. 6 experience because of Karen's Obel. I'm gonna go ahead and grab Observed at this point, which is just you get to draw 3 random tarot cards and pick one of them and get the upright position benefit from it. This can range from something very, very minor, like give you like +1 to a certain skill type the first time you test it every round, to starting with additional mulligans, start with the bigger hand size, start with more resources, get a free asset play at the beginning. You know, be able to search for your asset and ally and put it in your hand at the start. There's some that actually give you extra experience, and then there's some that can actually cure trauma if you survive to the end. I decided to go ahead and grab this and just see what I can get from it. The other alternative is just upgrading both my deductions, but I decided to go ahead and do this first to get that out of the way, so I can get obviously this only applies per scenario, so may as well just try to get what I can from here. With the remaining 2 experience, I'm going to go ahead and replace one of my research librarians with a black market. 1 cost, favor, fast. You play at the start of the investigation phase, and then 1 at a time reveal cards from the top of the investigator deck until 5 cards have been revealed. Note that this is just revealing cards, you're not drawing them, so it doesn't trigger revelations from weaknesses. And then you set those cards aside out of play. Well, set aside, any investigator may play any of those cards as if they were in their hand. At the start of the next investigation phase, shuffle each of those cards still set aside into its owner's deck. The only thing that kind of is iffy about this is it doesn't really do anything with skill cards, which I do have a lot in my deck. Which actually, that is a problem. How many skills do I have in my deck? 3 aces is 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, you know what? Let's not do black market. Let's go ahead and upgrade one of our deductions. Yeah, I'm not feeling that right now. Deduction. Yeah, upgraded deduction will just give us more tempo. If we, actually pass the check and not autofail. So let's go ahead and tag that out. I do need a replacement for Research Librarian, but for right now, I think we're okay. There we go. Replace one of these. All right. So I have, what was it? Exclusive, weakness, basic weakness, and then 2 more weaknesses, and then 2 story cards. Yep. So 37. All right. I will keep this aside because I may grab it eventually, even though it's not the best option. All right, from here on, I'm going to be going at it blind, which is probably not the best situation. We'll be doing Lost in the Woods. All right, so I'll go ahead and call it here. I'm the Depressed Dior. This was Arkham Horror, the card game, doing Darkham Horror. I have to say this is a very difficult campaign, even on easy difficulty. Definitely forgotten age levels, especially if you're trying to do everything, and that's probably part of the issue is I'm too greedy. But we did Wolves at the Door, and we'll be doing Lost in the Woods next. So see you guys then.